Hey, JP554731, and seeing as there was no HPCP, Iwata HPC plus disassembly and reassembly video on YouTube, I thought I might make one. So here we go. Again, this time with hopefully better lighting. Let's try not to blind you guys. So here I have the Japanese instructions. I know how to read katakana, what the Japanese use to write foreign words, and there are some. I'm gonna try to not to say all the time or Okay, so moving on. Here we go. So you're gonna want to take part 25.1. 25.1 is it's called the preset cap. That's this part right here. You're gonna want to take that off, unscrew it, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Okay, now that you got that off, you're gonna want to take off part, let's see, 24. It's called the needle chucking nut, which is this little guy right here. You're not gonna want to lose that. It's tiny. Okay. Next is part 23. It's the actual needle itself. Let's go ahead and take that out. Part 23. Let's see. Now, what part is this? Part 19. Part 19 is the needle chucking guide with accessory lever. The lever being this right here. Take that guy out. And you're gonna want to be careful because there's a little spring in there. Doesn't want to come out at the moment, but you're gonna not want to lose that. Here it is. There it is. That spring right there. And the spring is called 21 needle spring. Okay, now that we got that done. Oh, and I forgot to please note that this part right here, this is an accessory. It's to connect the Badger hose to an Iwata airbrush, so you're not gonna need to know about that. Well, seeing as I already told you about it, I don't think that really matters. Well, anyways, let's see. Part 17 on the instructions say main lever in katakana. Main lever, which is this guy right here, which goes in like this. With you can see there's an indented side indention right. I don't know if you can see it there. There's an indention right there, and it's there so when you pull the lever back to control the air, this is a dual action airbrush, meaning if you press this lever down, that's when the air comes out, and then when you pull it back, you're controlling how much paint comes out. So there's part 17. There's also part 12, which is a real bother to take out, and that's this right here. There's an O-ring inside there that's attached to this. You're not going to want to lose that. I'm not going to take it out because I don't want to lose it. And there's a pin once you take this part 12 out, part 12 is the air valve set. There's a part inside, it's called the piston, number 11. It's a little needle that goes through the O-ring, and it penetrates the O-ring, and it penetrates the O-ring and clasps onto this part 12, the air valve set. You're not going to want to lose that little guy either, number 11. Well, anyways, let's go on. Part 28 is the lid for the cap. This is where you put all your mixed paint thinner and paint thinner. Okay, so let's put that aside. So number 1 is the needle cap. This guy's a real bother to take out. But okay, so I'm not going to take it off because I can't, and I don't want to use a wrench to take it off right now because it'll scratch the finish. But anyways, you can take this part, the top part, off. And number 2 is the nozzle cap, the needle cap on top and the nozzle cap on the bottom. You can take them apart, but I choose not to do that for right now. And there's a part here, number 4, it's called the nozzle, and you're not going to want to, this is a very important part. This is $30, if you can believe it, for a little metal 3mm hole. Let me go ahead and get my, oh here it is, my Iwata wrench, and show you how to take it out. So remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty again. So let's go ahead. You're not going to want to over tighten this either, so just keep that in mind. It's going to break really easily. I learned that the hard way. So you're gonna want at least 3 turns. Let me go ahead and try to find that in my carpet. Okay, here it is. This little guy right there. It's called number 4, the nozzle. And that's pretty much it. If you wanna, I'll go ahead and reassemble it. So here we go. So the nozzle, let's put that back in. So remember, 2.5 turns, 2.5 to 3 turns. You're not gonna want to, once it's tight, you don't want to go any further than that because it's going to give way for sure. The screw breaks. There's a thread in there, and the thread will break very easily. So once, oh, here we go. I'll just show you. Okay, so here we go. There, that's it. Once it stops, that's it. Okay. So part 28, the lid for the cap. Number part 2 and 1 and 2, needle cap and needle cap and nozzle cap, needle cap, nozzle cap on. Okay, so part 19. Okay, so when putting this in, part 19, you're going to want to, it's easier if you put part 19 with part 21, which is the spring, the needle spring, and part 22, the spring guide. You put it all together, and you'll notice there's a little protrusion on top here, that's one you're gonna want to go ahead and make it face this way towards the airbrush, and you're gonna want to point it down, the airbrush down at an angle. Oh, actually, before that, sorry, you're gonna want to 17, yeah, part 17, the main lever. So again, with the indentation right here, whoops, the indentation right there, you're gonna want to put it in this way so that it fits. Snap it in, and there it goes. Okay, so now with that in place, part 17, put 19, 21, and 20, part 19, 21, and 20 with the little protrusion out that way. Make sure it touches part 17 right here, the part protrusion, and screw it about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 turns. And then part 23, which is the actual needle itself. You're going to want to be careful with the needle, because once you bend it, it's going to it's going to affect the spray of the airbrush itself. So you're going to want to carefully put it inside there. And another thing to note, you don't want to force the needle in, because it'll it'll make the whole of the airbrush's number 4. What part is number 4? The nozzle. It'll make the nozzle bigger, and you don't want that. It's gonna make the airbrush squirrely, as my old trumpet teacher used to say in high school. And so part 24, the needle chucking nut, and finally the last part. You're gonna want to stay tuned, because I'm gonna explain something in a little bit. This is part 25. Let's go ahead and screw that in. Okay, there we go. So now that we got the whole airbrush back together, there's one thing to note. To adjust the airbrush's the spray, how wide the spray is. But first off, the airbrush won't, well, at least for my Badger, it won't, if it's all the way, hold on, let me, okay, so, on my Badger, this one right here, if you don't have this little screw out, a little bit out, it won't spray at all. But I guess the single action is different from the dual action. For this one, for at least this one, if you press the lever down and pull back, it's gonna spray. Oh, actually, here, this is part 22, or actually 25-2, and it's called 25-2. In Japanese is the preset handle. And this is what controls the spray, the wideness of the spray. So here we go. If you have it all the way in, you can only press the lever down, and you can't pull back for the paint to come out to mix with the air. And you're gonna have to, if you want to spray paint, You're gonna want to screw it out. You can play with that, and you can play with the wideness there. But you can also, another thing you can do is you can also play with how much the needle is in or out of alignment, and that will also change the spray. The spray's